Hi everyone, welcome to Gallant IAS. This is Let's Score 120 Plus in Prelims 2021 series. And here we'll be learning a model question from Indian polity, and through that we'll help you to learn some core facts and concepts to help your prelims preparation. And the question for today is, which among the following statements regarding the Attorney General is or are correct? Since Attorney General forms part of Union Executive, he has the right to speak and to be part in the proceedings of both the House of the Parliament with voting rights. 2. Attorney General is not debarred from taking private legal practice. So the answer is the courts below. So regarding Attorney General, who is Attorney General? He is the highest law officer in our country. Highest law officer in our country. Okay. And the Attorney General can take part in the proceedings of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha or Joint Sitting or any other committee in which he is named a member, but without voting rights. Attorney General has no voting rights. Only the members have the voting rights inside the Parliament. So please note down that. Also, Attorney General enjoys all the rights and privileges which are available to a member of Parliament also. Fine. So he can take part in the proceedings of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Joint Sitting or any other committee in which he is named a member, but no voting rights. But he enjoys all the rights and privileges of a member of Parliament. Fine. So statement number 1 is wrong here. Why? Because it says that with voting rights. Actually, he has no voting rights. Fine. 2. Attorney General is not debarred from taking private legal practice. See, the Attorney General is not a full-time counsel of the Government of India. Okay, he is not considered as a public servant. So, he is not debarred from taking private legal practice, not an issue. 2 is correct here. So, our answer becomes option B, that is 2 only. Fine. Consider the following statements. Whenever the President seeks the opinion of the Supreme Court under Article 143 of the Constitution, it is binding on the Supreme Court to give legal opinion. 2. Andaman and Nicobar Islands comes under the jurisdiction of Calcutta High Court. So, statement 1 is regarding advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court. We learned this in our classes. That is, under Article 143, the President can ask the opinion of the Supreme Court if a question of law or fact arises of public importance. A question arises because of any law or fact regarding public importance, or a dispute arising because of any pre-constitutional treaty. In these cases, the President of India can ask the opinion of Supreme Court. See, in this case, if a law or fact regarding public importance, then the Supreme Court may or may not give opinion. But regarding dispute arising between pre-constitutional treaty, the Supreme Court must give opinion. But in any of the cases, the opinion given by the Supreme Court is not of a judicial character, or it is not similar to that of judicial verdict. So it is not binding on the President. Okay. So the opinion given by the Supreme Court is not binding on the President. Why? Because it's just the opinion of the Supreme Court. And the President can act according to his or her will. Okay. So this is what regarding the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court of India. Now move on the question. Whenever the President seeks the opinion of Supreme Court, it is binding on the Supreme Court to give legal opinion. No. When it is binding, when it is regarding dispute arising because of a pre-constitutional treaty, then only it is binding on the Supreme Court to give a legal opinion. But if a dispute arises because of a law or fact of public importance, a question arising because of a law or fact of public importance, then Supreme Court has choice. It may give opinion or may not give opinion. So in all the cases, it is not binding on the Supreme Court to give legal opinion. Okay. So that makes the statement wrong here, the term whenever. Fine. So statement number 1 is wrong here. 2 says that Andaman and Nicobar Islands comes under the jurisdiction of Calcutta High Court. That's a correct statement. So when you study union territories, please note down which union territory comes under which High Court. That you please note down. Okay, see, Lakshadweep comes under Kerala High Court. Likewise, all those things you please take care. And from that also we can answer questions for prelims. And currently Delhi is the only union territory having its own High Court. Fine. So answer to this question is option B, that is 2 only. Fine. Consider the following statements. A judge of High Court can hold office until he attains 65 years of age. The Central Administrative Tribunal is bound by the procedure laid out in the Civil Procedure Code. At least one-third seats of board of every cooperative society shall be reserved for women. Which of the statements is or are correct? So regarding the judges of High Court, a judge of High Court can hold office for a period of till he attains 62 years of age. But regarding the judge of Supreme Court, a judge of Supreme Court can hold office till he attains 65 years of age. So this age difference, please note down. Supreme Court judge can hold office for a period of till he attains 65 years of age, and High Court judge can hold office till he attains 62 years of age. Right. So one is wrong here. Regarding 2, the Central Administrative Tribunal, that is CAT, is bound by the procedure laid out in the Civil Procedure Code. No, the CAT is not bound by the Civil Procedure Code, but it is bound by the principle of natural justice. That makes this CAT, that is CAT, more flexible. I repeat once again, it is not bound by the principle of, not bound by the Civil Procedure Code or any Evidence Act, but CAT is bound by the principle of natural justice, thereby making it more flexible. Fine. So statement number 2 is also wrong here. At least one-third seats of board of every cooperative society shall be reserved for women. That statement is also wrong here. Why? Because Act says that one seat shall be reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and 2 seats for women. Okay, so only 2 seats are reserved for women in a cooperative society and not one-third. So where we get this one-third? In panchayats and municipalities, not less than one-third seats are reserved for women. In case of cooperative society, 2 seats are reserved for women for every cooperative society. Okay, that difference you please note down. So all the statements are wrong here. So answer becomes option D, that is none of the above. Okay.